Ladies and gentlemen, nerds and neckbeards. Welcome to another wonderful episode of Westeros. Whenever Lee.
Hey, Dave.
Whenever Lee. Whenever Lee. Okay. I got it out of my system.
You're a weird guy. I like that about you, Dave.
I am a weird guy.
Hey, cheers,
it's
buddy.
Weird. All men.
Must drink.
So Tana.
Yes, sir.
Ooh.
I tried to lay heavy on the sound effects last week, trying to really be as gross as possible because of because of Sam's
Poop and soup.
right?
Yeah.
But I think it was just a little too slurpy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there'll be less slurping this time, guys. However, not for lack of deliciousness.
We have a much better drink for you guys tonight. And by for you guys, I mean for us.
Ourselves. We owed ourselves a good one.
Yeah, we needed this.
We needed a Lannister win on this.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, Tana, tell us what we're drinking tonight. First off, we're going to be discussing Season 7, Episode 2, The Stormborn.
Stormborn.
Today. And because of that, we are drinking a drink that has been aptly named YARA Smash.
The Euron's YARA Smash.
That's right. And I personally think it has double meaning, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
For real.
So,
and there's layers to this drink, Dave. First of all, what color is it?
It's red.
Lannister crimson, baby.
That's right.
Why?
With a little bit of green.
With a little bit of green.
With
a little wildfire on the top there.
Ooh,
yeah, look at that. I'm
right.
all about the layers here.
Yeah, you got the vision.
So a
I
smash.
just have the voice.
In the world of cocktails, a smash, like a whiskey smash, I make a really good blackberry whiskey smash, is mostly, so you muddle up fresh seasonal fruit, okay?
Are strawberries in season right now?
Well, these are fresh strawberries, so I guess, isn't everything
know?
kind of in season in Florida? We have a year-round growing environment.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the way it works.
But it's high summer. I don't know. My strawberries in my garden, which are not what these are still blooming and so ripening. So yeah, it's strawberry season. So in today's YARA Smash, we have fresh raspberries, fresh strawberries, frozen strawberries, wedges of lime, and there's supposed to be mint from my garden as a garnish. You can also muddle it in if you like a minty strawberry. I tend to just like the look of it.
You know, you asked me before what this drink was missing.
Yeah.
I think a little bit of mint.
Yeah, you think that would just round it out nicely?
I think that would round it out nicely.
I can't remember everything when I leave my house, Dave.
That's your job. Your one and only thing you had to do today, Tana. All right.
All men must drink.
All men must drink.
So a smash traditionally is served in a rocks glass, and it is a mostly fresh fruit and booze cocktail. So while you can cut it with juice, you don't really need to. And so because you and I tend to talk for a while and we don't really want to get hammered, I figured I would cut this with
I think
juice.
our fans want us to get hammered.
No, we're a lot more entertaining when we get a little punchy.
when we try to be all serious and try to take this podcast seriously and discuss things, our fans, we have fans.
We do. Hey, cheers to the fans.
They tell us that we're you're not drunk enough.
They're like, it's better when you're obviously loaded.
There's a song by the Bloodhound Gang called "You're Pretty When I'm Drunk."
Hey man.
And all I can think about right now is that song is "You're Funny When I'm Drunk." You're funny when I'm drunk.
I feel like that's the chapter title of my autobiography or my biography.
You're prettier when I'm drunk?
Yeah, that covers college. Like, that's the college years. Anyway.
Tana's college years. Chasing straight, you're pretty when I'm drunk.
You're prettier when I'm drunk. Okay, so can you guess, based on the Stormborn episode, what alcohol we are featuring prominently in this drink?
Rum.
Yes! And why do you think we're doing that?
Because I saw the bottle.
But also because Sam treats Jorah with the rum.
That's true. That's true.
And I thought in that scene he was gonna take a swig, like Jorah was gonna take a swig of the rum, and then Sam was gonna drink it, and I was like, no, dude, you'll get grayscale.
Yep.
And instead he was like, whoa, before you take a drink.
Yeah.
And then he takes a drink himself. Also, whoever that actor is as Sam does a fantastic job.
Oh, yeah.
His like gag and like his face looked like it was burning from hot rum, and perfectly acted.
So imagine that face.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's probably the face that I make
Every day.
whenever I drink Tana's concoctions, like gin.
Yes. Fair point. Fair. So, yep, that is a good one. So, yeah, rum. Rum is our alcohol of choice tonight. So we've got Bacardi white rum, fresh strawberries, frozen strawberries, raspberries, all muddled together.
Yep.
We also simple syrup, which you can make at home. It is something that anybody that cares about cocktails should know how to make. You just heat up water and add sugar and mix it up.
So why do you have to do that instead of just adding sugar to your drink?
Because it adds, it is a sweetener. It avoids the granules of sugar. So instead of getting a crunchy bite of your drink, you get a nice, smooth, and even sweetening. It is a thorough sweetening. It also works for you guys if you don't want to drink alcohol in iced coffee. So if you're into that caffeine drink, yeah, you could do a little simple syrup, and you can sweeten up your coffee without the crunchy mouthfuls of sugar hanging out at the bottom of your iced coffee cup. So I think that's everything in the drink. The recipe is listed. Muddle it up. I say to violently muddle it, smash it.
Yeah,
like Euron smashes Yara's fleet.
Oh man, comes down right on that.
And yeah, where do you want to jump in? So that's our drink. All men must drink.
All men must drink.
These delicious drinks. And yep, if you're making this at home the proper way, instead of cutting it with water, a little bit of water or juice as we did tonight, then you're just gonna muddle up your fruit and then have just the rum. Simple syrup to sweeten it a little bit. You don't have to add simple syrup if you like it a little more tart.
Yeah.
You're going to add an ounce of lime juice or a liberal squeeze from a lime juice wedge.
Yeah.
And then enjoy.
We cut it with a little bit of water because I didn't have any juice.
Yeah.
But it's still very delicious.
It is
and I
delicious.
can still taste the rum.
Oh, it's so good. And if you want,
Drink it
because
with a
it's
straw.
Euron, you can put a floater of 151 on the top,
and light
Bacardi
on fire?
151, and light it on fire because those ships
Oh
were on
my
fire.
God.
So we've got Lannister Crimson for Cersei's attack.
Yep.
We've got rum for Jorah. We've got flames on the top for Euron lighting all of Yara's ships on fire.
Yeah.
So
but
there
before
it is, guys.
we get there,
That's our drink, our very on point drink, which is also delicious.
before we get to Euron and crazy uncle, drunk
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Euron doing crazy things, let's start at the beginning of the show.
Let's.
So the show opens up on a rainy, stormy Dragonstone,
Apropos, title.
and we hear
Kaboom.
Varys,
Rain.
or it's
Thunder.
either Varys or Tyrion. I forget who's makes
They kind
the
of take
comment.
turns.
But yeah, they take turns, but it was kind of like, oh, you were born on a night like tonight.
Tyrion says that.
Yeah.
And then Varys says, I remember that night. And I was like, fuck you, Varys. You weren't there. And he's like, it was raining in King's Landing.
Landing.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Continue. I'll
Well,
believe
Tyrion
this, I
wasn't
guess.
there either.
Right.
Or was he? No.
He
wasn't
couldn't have
there.
been.
Couldn't have been there.
No.
So, yeah, so they make that comment and they go back and forth for a little bit. And then eventually they get into this great back and forth between Varys and Daenerys about loyalty.
Oh, I thought that was so
And
great. That whole conversation was awesome.
This is
It was
like
gold.
This is like Varys, like to a T, right? He comes out and he's just like, you know what? He's been scheming and conspiring and all this stuff, but he's telling the truth here.
Yep.
I mean, even the actor.
Do you
I think
think he's telling the truth?
I think the actor did a great job
Yeah.
of convincing me that he will work for the people, that he
So
is here for the people.
I wondered about this. In the books, right, we have, they're all great characters. Nobody's good or bad. And I think Varys' motivations might be slightly different. Do you think, as the show guy, that what we saw last night from Varys is Varys' soul? Do you think he was telling the truth? Do you believe him?
I do. I do believe. I mean, Varys is very, very good at saying what you want to hear.
Yep.
And being able to talk his way
Out of being killed.
Yeah, out of almost every time as well.
He absolutely needed to do that last night with Dany.
Oh, yeah.
She was coming at him hard.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, he's telling her what she needs to hear to not kill him.
Yeah.
On the other, you're right. He did seem like he was telling the truth.
But he does. I mean, he had spies all over. He knows the truth about Daenerys. He knows that she wants to be for the people. So
Yep.
As much as I want to believe him, there's a part of me that says, this guy knew what to say to get out of that situation, and he said it, but he said it so sincerely.
So I just had this thought while you were talking.
Yeah.
Here's why I think a compelling case can be made that this is what Varys actually thinks.
Yeah.
His opening line to Dany, do you know what it is? Do you remember? The Mad King, what your fucking dad, was the worst, most violent, most insane, most awful king the world has ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, that's his opening line. Your dad was a sack of shit.
Yep.
Like, this woman is walking at you, right? She's gonna kill you, burn you alive, and that's your opener? So if he wanted to kiss her ass, if he wanted to be, like, flattering or, like, I don't know, sort of silky in any kind of way, is that how you open? Are you gonna be like, your dad's the worst?
I mean,
the Mad King. Few rulers in history were as mad as the Mad King. Were ever as mad. Something like that.
I mean, from a you and I perspective, no.
Yeah.
I would go in,
Dad's a sack of shit.
like, welcome to Westeros. I hope you take over, right? But Varys is different, right?
Yeah.
Varys is not like the rest of us. He is very, very clever and very, very planning and very, very astute to the people that he's talking to, right? He's not gonna say what he thinks they want to hear. He's gonna say what they want to hear.
So it's interesting.
Very different distinction there.
I'm leaning toward we saw Varys open up and tell the truth. Like, I think that we saw Varys say that.
I agree.
In the books, I think there is at least one moment, there might be two, but the one moment where Varys talks about how he was cut.
Yep. To
Tyrion. He opens up about who he is and where he comes from and why he's against Stannis, right? Like, it's under the framework of, when I was a child, I was sold. They, cut me root and stem. I was sold to a sorcerer. He did some magic. A voice answered me in the dark, or answered him in the dark.
Yeah,
it spoke.
Freaked the fuck out.
And he's like, from that moment, I've been against any kind of sorcery. And if Stannis is one such, then I will do everything I can to tear him down. And like, there's this, I think they're riding horses through King's Landing on the way to see Shay, something like that. But he opens up his heart. And I feel like that was what we got to see last night with Varys in a different context, in a different way. Yeah. But that exchange was fraught and powerful. I thought it was beautifully done between them. She wasn't given an inch. She was like at him and at him. You served Robert. You served the Mad King. You served, who is it that you really serve? Who sent the knives after me? Right. Who hired the assassins? Robert made the call, but who hired them? You did.
Right.
And I think, what is his line? He says the best line, I think, of the whole fucking show. This is when it turned for me. Incompetence should not be rewarded with blind loyalty. Fucking amen, Varys. I think that's where she pivots.
Yeah.
Incompetence should not be rewarded with blind loyalty. And so that's when I think the conversation shifts, and she starts saying, if I ever step out of line, you need to tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me to my face.
He says, if you ever think I failed the people, don't conspire behind my back. Tell me to my face.
Yep.
Like you have now.
Yep. And I'll fix it. And if you ever cross me,
I'll burn you alive.
And he kind of cracks a smile, and he's like, I would expect nothing less from the Queen of Dragons.
Out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
Poof. Melisandre appears.
She might as well have done like boom, and just like the smoke.
and I think this is a very powerful moment too, is the first thing she says, for the most part, is in High Valyrian, right?
So that was cool. I don't really see a lot of High Valyrian.
She came straight out with High Valyrian. No groveling. Not that Melisandre's a groveling type of person,
Right.
but she comes in straight with High Valyrian and straight up is like, breaker of chains. I was a slave. I was sold.
Right.
Whatever. You're the breaker of chains. It's great to meet you,
Yep.
etc. And so,
Huge fan.
Huge-
Got a tattoo.
I got a tattoo.
I got the three-headed dragon right
okay.
here.
I'm like a
Flames
big fan.
around it.
Can you sign my old wrinkly tits? I'll leave the ruby on for now. Okay. I'm cute. It's great. I'm the biggest fan. I'm the greatest. You broke the chains. No one breaks the chains greater than you. Okay. We're good.
Oh God. So yeah, so she just comes fucking sliding up, man. And conveniently sets the stage for Jon Snow and Dany.
Of course.
I mean,
and of course they have to throw that. Well, technically, that word has no gender, so it could be prince or princess.
we're jumping ahead, I think. Let me check my notes here.
That's what do you mean? That's the Melisandre encounter.
Let me see here. If she's failing the people, so first of all, in anticipation of Jon and Daenerys meeting,
Yeah.
you
Both
as a
six.
show watcher, what do you expect? What do you hope? What do you expect? How do you think it's going to go? Are they going to be enemies? Are they going to immediately bone on the throne room?
No.
What's going to happen?
I definitely don't think there's going to be any boning going on. I think that's a Reddit pipe dream of boat sex on a boat.
I tried to explain that to Kirsten, and she was like, let me get this straight. Dave says that they fake filmed a bunch of scenes,
Yeah.
including on a beach and on a boat, just to throw people off. And I was like, that's what he says? And she was like, oh my God, what even is this show?
It's the most watched show on television right now. The
I-
highest ratings.
I went
It's the
back.
It's the greatest. Okay. No one's got better ratings than
my
us. It's Game of Thrones.
Oh, God.
Okay. You can't do it. We're the best.
I will say again, incompetence should not be rewarded with blind loyalty. So I went back and I watched before. So in anticipation of this episode, which I was
Yeah.
super excited to see,
Yeah.
because I am totally jazzed about this season and the new material and seeing these characters that I love in a new way. And so in anticipation, and because I knew it was going to like cover ground I was not familiar with,
Yeah.
on HBO Go, there's like 2-minute clips of important things in Game of Thrones, and one of them was Craster's baby gets
Yes.
given to the others, and
Yep.
there's like a
Just like in the
city.
book?
No, but we only see it at Craster's house, and he said like we never see that on camera. One of the wives is like, or Gilly is like, if it's a boy, he gives it to the others, and the others come and take it, but you
Yes.
never see that.
That's true.
And then
We see it in the
in the show, he takes the kid to like ice Stonehenge in a city of others. What the fuck was that? And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this makes sense why the fandom thinks there's some secret city of others.
Yeah.
This must be where they get it.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing about it in the books.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember seeing a city of others. I just remember him walking through the trees, and then there's like a ice pedestal that
Yeah.
he like leaves the baby
It's like
on.
an altar. There's
Yeah.
an ice
Altar.
square altar, and it's surrounded by ice Stonehenge.
Yeah.
And it's beautifully shot, you know, like there's a sky view, you're looking down, there's a circle and a square and a baby on it.
Uh-huh.
And like the baby, you get the perspective of the baby looking up at the other that's carrying him through the
Right.
woods. Like there's some interesting and cool stuff, but like what the fuck is that? What did they do with the baby? What did that's where
That's
the
it.
others come from?
We don't know.
We don't know. But this is going to come back, one would think.
One would think. I mean, but in the show, we don't know what they do with them.
Right.
So,
It just, like,
in the book, we don't know what they do with them.
And then I saw the scene in Hardhome that also doesn't happen in the books, where Night's King, Jon, and like 5 guys are in a boat. We were on a boat.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
there's like a bunch of slaughter happening.
Yep. And
And then Night's King
just
stands
raise
on,
up.
yeah,
Yep.
and he's like eyes up, arms up, and then all the dead come to life again.
Yeah.
That was a great scene,
It
but
was a
I was
great
also
scene.
like, are you guys the Wicked Witch of the West? Why don't you guys just swim out to the boat? Like
Yeah.
you're all undead already.
They're
Just-
made of ice. They can't
just
go in the
fucking-
water. They will melt.
They just swim.
Tana.
Just swim.
Tana.
Not the others. Send
Tana.
the zombies.
The
John was right there. Make a little zombie
the
float.
zombies, okay?
Even if they sink, they can walk along the bottom. What are they going to run out of
air?
air?
This is Pirates of the Caribbean now.
Anyway, I just obviously they didn't think about that. Night's King could have ended this war before it even began.
Whatever. Wouldn't have made for good drama.
Where were we?
He's like, fuck it.
So Melisandre
shows up.
Yep.
We get the prophecy. You know, the prince that was promised.
Yeah.
And you know, Dany says, "Oh, that's not. You know, I'm not a prince."
Yeah.
And Missandre. Missandre comes in and says, "Well, actually, in like this, in what I
she pushes up her little like hipster glasses,
yes, exactly.
and she's like,
actually, what I imagine as like, you know, correcting your, straightening your pocket square and pushing up your glasses that have been taped together because some nerd, you know, not some nerd, some
adjusting
jock,
your suspenders,
yeah, and goes." Well, actually, in High Valyrian, that word doesn't have a gender, and so, therefore, the proper translation would be the prince or princess.
And Tyrion jumps in,
promised.
and he's like, it doesn't really roll off the tongue.
Yeah, exactly, right.
But Dave, that's based on a thing in the book.
Absolutely.
Do you know how I know that?
Because you have a clip for us.
I have a clip for you. Because I keep
yeah.
this is one of the clips that just always stays in my phone. Because it's an important moment.
That's a little strange that you just like walk around with Game of Thrones clips. I want to know the like besides our podcast, obviously.
I'm ready to tell you the truth here. I'm ready to come clean.
Have you ever been in a conversation before
Last week.
and been like, wait a second, I have a clip.
In New
Hold
Orleans.
on, you must listen. Stop. In the name of clips, you will listen.
1 week ago exactly, in New Orleans, when I was waiting for the premiere and everybody was super excited, we're walking in like downtown New Orleans, and Kirsten is walking as far away from me as she can, and I'm staying in the back with the people who are like super into the book. And I was like, no, man, that's not a thing. I can't remember what we were talking about, but I was like, no, listen. And I was like, and he goes, what are you taking out of your pocket? What could you possibly be taking out of your pocket right now? Do you have like a pocket Game of Thrones book? And I was like, even better. And I played some clip about Bran seeing things through the weirwood or Winterfell or something. And he just like, so we're walking down the street and he's getting my phone to his ear and he's just like, oh, and his whole expression just changed and he started nodding his head like, fuck yeah. It was such a gratifying moment.
I'm picturing this. I'm picturing your girlfriend like running,
power walking.
like I cannot get away from this.
She's repeating to herself, I love her, I love her, I love her, I love her.
She makes good cocktails.
So this is The Prince That Was Promised, performed by Roy Dotrice. Go pick up the audiobook of Game of Thrones. And
if you listen to our podcast, you know that we praise him.
Yeah. Oh,
at least
I love
Tana
him so
does.
much.
I like his voice. Pretty good.
He has the Guinness Book World Record for most recognizable voices, over 300 individually recognizable voices in the Game of Thrones series, in the Ice of Fire series that he's done.
He won the Guinness Book of World Records for this book?
By like 100 voices. Yeah. Because he has 300 and some odd recognizable voices. And while he makes Jaime and Cersei and Tyrion sound related, like they're all different, but they sound like brother and sister. It's remarkable. Anyway, here he is, Roy Dotrice, as Aemon Targaryen, telling us about the Prince That Was Promised. Watch out for a mention of Rhaegar.
Ooh.
Mother, Xander's talk of dragons had almost seemed to restore the old man to himself. That night he ate every bite Sam put before him. No one ever looked for a girl, he said. It was a prince that was promised, not a princess. Rhaegar, I thought the smoke was from the fire that devoured Summerhall on the day of his birth. The salt from the tears shed for those who died. He shared my belief when he was young, but later he became persuaded that it was his own son who fulfilled the prophecy, for a comet had been seen above King's Landing on the night Aegon was conceived, and Rhaegar was certain the bleeding star had to be a comet. What fools we were. We thought ourselves so wise. The error crept in from the translation. Dragons are neither male nor female. Barth saw the truth of that. But now one and now the other. as changeable as flame. The language misled us all for 1,000 years. Daenerys is the one, born amidst salt and smoke. The dragons prove it.
So that's the Prince I Was Promised theory, or prophecy inside the books. Did you notice anything in there that might be also applicable to the show, Dave?
Well, obviously, it had to be the mention that Rhaegar thought it was his son.
Oh, he did, but I think he thought it was the wrong son.
The wrong one.
So Aegon was the baby that got its head smashed in by Tywin Lannister. But Jon Snow, if Rhaegar and Lyanna, as we believe,
That's right.
made,
Fire and ice.
Yep, made baby Jon Snow. And remember in the show, that beautiful scene? So Kirsten and I went back and watched the season finale. I had forgotten that, like, the big reveal about Jon
Tower of Joy
was in the Tower of Joy episode, which was the season finale last. So it
The
just
question-
just happened.
The real question is, what does she say? Because we know she says his name is.
Yep. I
And
think
then
his
it
name's gonna be,
muddles like Jaehaerys or something.
I think it's gonna be Aemon. I think he's
Aemon?
named after. I think he meets his namesake. There's like a nice unity to that. And in the very beginning in Game of Thrones, when him and Robb are boys and
Yeah.
they're playing at Winterfell and they're pretending, you know, I'm Serwyn of the Mirror Shield, I'm whatever. Jon loved playing Aemon Targaryen, the Dragon Knight, known as Aemon the Dragon Knight. So I think maybe his name is going to be Aemon.
I like that theory a lot better than what I heard circulating around the interwebs, which
What
is
did you
that
hear?
that his name was Jaehaerys.
Oh, well, I like Jaehaerys. That could be a good
Yeah.
name.
The only.
Why are you against it?
Well, I'm not against
Or
it.
what,
I just.
why doesn't it hold water for you?
Well, because there's really no proof to it other than his name is John, therefore it must be a J name.
It's a J
Jaehaerys,
name,
aha, that's it.
I think that the Aemon...
Ned isn't clever enough to disguise a whole name and change one letter.
That might be true. No, so I think my own headcanon about it is that his name is Aemon Stark, and he
would be Aemon Targaryen.
right, but he got to meet his namesake, and he revered Aemon the Dragon Knight. So we feel like there's some family connection there for him.
Okay, I like
So
that.
that's
I
my
like that
idea.
a lot better.
But do you remember that scene? Was there any bleeding star in that scene, Dave?
Well, there was the bloody dawn
Ding, ding, ding,
star
ding,
of the
ding,
morning
ding,
sword
ding, ding,
right
ding,
there
ding,
at the edge of the bed.
Ding, 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 that he was born under, and the
Yeah.
way that the show guys like filmed it seemed very specific to me. If you're, looking for these sort of portents,
Yeah.
born under a bleeding star, amidst salt and smoke, salt from Lyanna's tears, maybe. Smoke, why smoke?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a cart burning outside
Yeah.
or something.
Who knows? But yeah, the ashes of a house Targaryen ending with Rhaegar. I don't know, but so Jon Snow could be that son of Rhaegar,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So anyway, that's a little book and Melisandre overlap. Yeah, and I like that the word in High Valyrian is dragon.
Yeah.
That the word that has no gender is dragon, and so it's the dragon that was promised, or
Right.
I don't know. It works.
It works well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so what do you think? Does Melisandre become like a buddy to Daenerys? What happens when she sees Jon Snow again? What happens when she sees Davos?
So that's the thing that
Davos
I thought
is
of.
coming!
Like,
Oh, I totally forgot.
100%. That's what hit me straight in the head. Was I think I said this to Lauren like right when that scene happened. I'm like, Davos is gonna see her again, and the first thing Davos is gonna say is like, "You killed Shireen, I'm gonna kill you."
Mm-hmm.
And so it's interesting that I agree. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yep.
And I'm excited. So back to your original question,
Yep.
which was, what do I think Jon Snow and Daenerys' interaction is going to be? I think it's going to be one of extreme tact.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say this is because Jon, I think, is very deliberate with his decisions. They said it inside the show afterwards that, he never wanted to be king, but he's always the first one to put himself at risk.
Yeah.
And to kind of, jeopardize or not make compromise, but he's always willing to make the tough decision.
Yep.
Right. And so the question really is going to be,
Hey, there's our train.
There's the train. whether or not Daenerys is gonna A, listen to him,
Yeah.
B, care, and C, be like, fine, you know what? I'll help you if you bend the knee.
Yeah, she was pretty clear about that. He needs to bend the knee stuff.
She was very clear when she was talking to Tyrion about, fine, send a raven. Tell him his queen
Yep. Yep.
invites him to bend the knee.
And you're supposed to respect your aunts. So,
Yeah, right.
you know, you should have a little respect there.
Yeah.
So I think that there's going to be,
So-
if I'm the showrunner,
Yeah.
I'm going to frame this scene so that it's icy, but there's heat underneath it. I'm going to do a Song of Ice and Fire business.
You kind of see that in the coming next,
Yeah.
where they kind of show Jon walking into this cold room, and then it's
she's just seated.
Daenerys
In
sitting
repose. I loved
sitting
it.
on that throne in Dragonstone.
I loved it.
So do you
go
speaking
ahead.
of this
Yep,
scene
yep.
that we're gonna see, do you think Varys knows the original birth story of Jon Snow?
I hadn't considered it. So in the books, no one knows.
Well, Howland Reed knows.
Right. I'm sorry. No one that we've met, no one with the exception of Howland Reed and probably Jojen and Mira
Right.
know who Jon Snow is.
Right.
And Ned, like he didn't tell anyone because the secret was so huge. When you go back and read Game of Thrones,
Everyone knows that he is such an honorable guy, but he had this one stint
Yeah.
during Robert's Rebellion.
but what I never picked up on, or what I didn't initially pick up on, was again and again, Ned brings up children, the children of the dragon, to King Robert. And King Robert, even 15 years later,
They're all dead.
They're
No.
they're not children. They're not human. They're dragon spawn. I don't see a girl. I see, somebody that needs to be murdered. Like whenever they talk about children, Ned gets upset about it. It's one of their big fights. But again and again, any child of Rhaegar will be murdered by Ned's best friend, King Robert. And so, especially if Lyanna had a child, Lyanna, the love of Robert's life, he says, had a child, what he would consider a rape baby by Rhaegar, he would destroy that kid.
Yeah.
So Ned tells no one. And he, and he thinks about like the cost of keeping
I can buy
that
in.
secret.
I can buy into that. I think I do. I definitely buy into that. So
look for it. If you reread Game of Thrones, look for those interactions where Ned brings up the safety of children.
Yeah.
And Robert has not changed. Like, he is not going to show clemency to young Dany. I think she's 13 or something in the books, and he's like, fucking kill her.
Yeah.
So anyway, kill the baby in her belly too. Kill everybody. Kill all the dragon spawn. Ned is just outraged.
Everyone.
Because he's probably thinking about Jon Snow, right? Like, he's got a dragon spawn that he's been hiding from King Robert for 15 years. If Robert ever found out, he would burn Winterfell to the ground.
Yeah.
What a betrayal of friendship. Like, we won this war together. How dare you? So, anyway, so that's Jon Snow.
That's Jon Snow. That's Melisandre coming to Dragonstone. What's next that happens? I think
It
it's
goes
Sam.
to Winterfell, and
it
that's
does
when
go to
so
Winterfell?
we go to
That's the
Winterfell
first,
twice, and we
right.
go back to Dragonstone twice. So we kind of covered those together. Cersei, we got to talk about Cersei and Sam's dad. We see Randall Tarley.
I think that's a great
That was a good
tie-in, great scene.
That was a good scene.
Cersei's sitting on the throne. She's telling all these kind of lesser house people, like, don't back House Tyrell. They're bullshit. If Dany comes, she's gonna burn everything. She's just as bad as the Mad King.
Yep, she tries to.
She says she staked a bunch of people at the cross on her way to Marine, and
Which
then
she did, a bunch
then
of the masters.
right? But of course, Cersei doesn't let on the other
Conveniently
injustices,
leaves out.
right? An inconvenient truth, and then says, she fed them to her dragon, blah blah blah. She's crazy, and of course, at the end of that scene, you see
Randall.
Randall Tarley talking with a bunch of people, and I kind of believe he's talking about, but Tyrell and this, and that's our bannerman. And then, of course, Sir Jaime comes up.
So this is when Jaime makes his big move. And I gotta say, Jaime, you stepped in some dog shit. The very first words out of your mouth were, like, if you want Randall Tarley on your side, maybe, I don't know, remember what his son's name is. Hey, you're Rickon, right? And he's
Yeah.
like, I'm Dickon.
Dickon, yeah.
Like, you're not making any great impression with
Yeah.
Randall Tarley right now, dude. That was not smooth.
Yep.
And it kind of gets worse before it gets better.
Yeah, he makes some I forget exactly how his conversation goes, but I believe he makes some comment like, "Oh, you need to back us, and do you want to be the warden of the West?"
Yeah,
And
he whips it. So his two, so he offers, he's trying to make Randall Tarley come to their side, right?
Yeah.
Like, work with the Tyrells, or work with
that's
Cersei
right.
here.
Randall goes, "It's a long ride back.
Yep.
Back. I need to get back, and I've got
Yep.
an army to raise, or
Yep.
something like that." And Jamie goes, "Well, whose side are you going to be fighting on?"
Right. I've got an army to raise to fight for which side. And then Jamie's like, hold up, bro. Just wait a second. You should really fight with us. We need your help. We just need you to go against House Tyrell and kill your liege lord.
bannerman, yeah.
And he turns and he's like, I'm a Tarley of Horn Hill. That name means something. Like,
Yep.
he's got honor. Right. And Jamie's like, but Olenna Tyrell used to be awesome, but now she sucks.
Yeah.
And we'll make you Lord of Highgarden. And
The
dude,
warden.
Dothraki hordes?
Yeah, right.
What about xenophobia?
Savages, yeah.
We
Oh
can't
my
have
God.
savages invading our country. This is our sovereign territory. Don't you believe in, I don't know, the rightness of Westerosi blood or
Which is a
whatever?
really good parallel, because Tyrion says that when he's laying out the
Yep.
battle plan.
And he knows
Yep.
that that's how they're going to see it.
He goes, "We can't have the savages attack King's Landing, because they're going to make this into a Eastern invasion
Yep.
type." So,
Foreigns and whip up the xenophobia, and then like in the next scene, that's what they're doing.
Yep.
Invading savages, and he promises the wardendom. At the end of that scene, do you think that Randall Tarley has been convinced?
no way.
Yeah.
No way.
I'm leaning hard no as
No
well.
way.
Yeah, and Randall remembers Aegon's conquest. Like, he has learned his history.
Yeah.
Aegon conquered with 3 dragons and
He
had a
makes
much
that
lesser.
comment.
Yep,
He says,
that's right. He does.
in the throne room, he
Mm-hmm.
says that. He says, they have 3 dragons like Aegon when he conquered.
Yep. And
How
so,
do you suppose you beat that?
And he's like,
Of course, Qyburn's like,
and then
we've got
Qyburn-
something in the works.
so let's talk about that shit right now. So we can go in 2 directions. Do you want to talk about dragon artillery, or do you want to talk about the other Tarley in the story?
Let's talk about dragon artillery, because then we'll come back to the other Tarly.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll circle back.
Do you know what historical weapon that that artillery unit was based on?
It's,
1 point if you know the civilization, and a 2nd point if you know the name of the weapon.
it starts with a Q and ends with a lance, I think. It's like a quip lance or something like that.
It is by what civilization?
I don't remember. Maybe it's called a scorpion.
So
I think it's called a scorpion.
there is a weapon that was employed by the Roman forces.
Yeah.
That was developed by them, called the ballista. And
That's right. It is the ballista.
You crank back this, taut rope.
It's a giant
It's a crossbow.
Yeah.
And so there were artillery units responsible in the big legions of Roman armies that were like ballista forces. They were one of our first humankind artillery units, and they did exactly this. Like, that shape is very much, if you Google a Roman artillery ballista, you will see the plans, the ancient plans for this thing, and they're just doing it, of course, in Game of Thrones on a massive scale.
Massive.
And I thought it was first of all, dragon skulls are so cute.
They're so huge.
And what a waste of a good dragon skull by firing a rocket into
I
it.
know.
But it
I
made
don't
the
know.
point. It made the point.
I don't know if they were trying to say, it could pierce a dragon bone,
Yep.
therefore it must be able to kill them. But it's
Yep.
like
Goes
bones
right through its
without
face.
any armor or anything
Yep.
like that.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
If I'm
but-
Cersei, so I've already said to you before, my job would be making armor for dragons. I
Yeah.
would want to be a dragon armorer and saddle maker.
Mm-hmm.
Give me that job in Westeros. That's what I want. The Queen's saddle maker.
Queen's dragon.
And I would make sure
saddlemaker.
that they had, a steel plate or a like a hard armored enameled plate on its little head, because if they take a ballista shot through the skull, they're gonna die.
Yeah.
Meraxes, no. Is it Meraxes? The Queen Rhaella? Nope.
I got my
Aegon's
world book
sister.
somewhere.
Aegon's sister's dragon was taken down in Dorne when it got a scorpion bolt through its eye. And it fell down and crushed the queen, and she might have been tortured for a long time.
I knew there was a weapon called the Scorpion.
Mm-hmm. It's just in the world of, Game of Thrones. We did get some news from George. In 2018, we might get a book. It's just not going to be Winds of Winter, probably.
Yeah.
It's
So
gonna be
my
this-
theory holds true. He's waiting till the end of the show completely before he releases the Winds
I think
of
he
Winter.
is working as diligently as he can.
Yep. Okay.
That's what I think. I think he spent some time writing the history of Aegon's son. So you have a history book coming, a fake history book as well, which I'm also excited about, because Aegon Targaryen and his 2 sister wives each gave him 1 son. His older sister, Visenya, gave him Maegor the Cruel, and his younger sister that he loved more, God, what was her name? Rhaenra? No. There's too many names. I can't.
Sarah.
I've been drinking. I know what her name
It's
is.
Sarah.
Vhagar
Do you think he's
and-
writing this so that we can get a spin-off show?
I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. But what we're gonna see is, I believe we're gonna see, and his son by the other queen that he loved was named Aenys, and that's what everyone calls Anus. So it's Anus and Maegor. Anyway, Maegor has a trial by 7. Remember this? And it's the faith against Maegor the Cruel, and everyone fucking dies. And the guy, like, Maegor in the end clubs to death the last, like, holy man, like the Gregor, the mountain that rides version in history. And he falls down, and 1 second later, Maegor falls down as well and is the last man technically standing, so technically he wins.
Yeah.
But then
But
he's
he
in a
dies.
coma.
Yeah.
He's in a coma for like 30 days, and then there's some sort of like, was he a zombie? Was he a white? Like, did they raise him from the dead? He rises up out of his coma after 30 days, and he's insane. So anyway, it'll be very interesting and exciting, whichever book we get. Probably we're not going to see Winds of Winter till 2019, but we'll just have to see how it goes. Anyway, where were we?
So after that happens, let's move back to the other Tarly.
Yes, so this is what brings us All Men Must Drink
All men must drink.
to Samuel.
God.
Oh, you're touching my you're touching my strawberry.
Can you not? Can you move your glass so we can clink them? Thank you. God, she's
he's
giving me
squished my
the business
strawberry.
end of her garnishments, and all I wanted to do was clink glasses.
Yep, it's sad but true. So Sam, not listening to Maester Slytherin.
First off,
Yeah.
fucking awesome. I love all the Citadel shots. So
I do
far.
too.
Every single one has been great.
I was so glad that we got another gross food experience.
So
It was
So that's
gross.
that's the end of the Samuel
was
experience.
so gross.
The beginning of the Samuel experience, they're treating Jorah,
Yep.
and Archmaester says, you know, if you were a commoner, I'd send you off to live with the Stone people already.
Yep.
But because of your name, I'll give you 1 day. It's like
And he's like, how you choose to spend it, long lingering look at his sword in the corner.
Yeah. Basically, he's like, commit suicide, bro.
Fucking kill yourself.
Just fucking yeah.
I
He
love-
basically says, go fucking kill yourself.
He's such a Slytherin. Like this is House Slytherin.
Hold on. To be fair,
Yeah.
I'm House Slytherin.
Right. Well,
I
this
took
is
the
your
test.
this is your house. What
took
are
the
they?
test.
This is your not Overlord. God damn it! Wow. Okay, it's been a while, but
Yeah.
I think we're. I
I don't
think
know
I'm a
what
little
you're talking
loopy.
about. I don't know what you're talking about. My overlord.
No,
My God.
in your house, the house headmaster, the headmaster of your house.
Isn't that Snape?
Yes, but in when Voldemort was at Slytherin, it was this guy. It was Slughorn.
Slughorn, yeah. Okay.
Wow, Tana,
Well
way
done.
to take the long way to that
Yep.
point.
Anyway, so basically tells him to go kill himself. Tarly's like, oh, can't there something we can do, blah, blah. And then they go to the library,
Which I love.
and he's stacking books on Samuel, like, you got to read this, you got to read this. This guy has more data. This guy has a little style.
Some of the best dialogue
And
in the
then
whole show.
he says something like, if you're going to be writing the book, you know,
The
the
history-
Chronicles, I think he says, the Chronicles of the Wall after Robert Baratheon the First.
Of the war.
Oh, the Chronicles of the War after Robert Baratheon the First.
Yes.
And Samuel goes,
Sam's like, how about, you might need, I don't know that you want to go with that title.
You don't like the title?
Yeah. It was so
It could
great.
be a little bit more poetic.
Yep. So what did he say? I want to see if I wrote it down. I don't think, no, they didn't write it down. But the thing that stuck out to me, and I love this scene, and I think that the stacking is really effective.
Yeah.
I like that the books are kind of breaking apart. Their spines are old, whatever.
Yeah. It's the second time we've seen people stack books on
Yeah.
Sam.
Oh, yeah. And he's just and he's getting piled up to the chin. He can't. I loved it. It took me out of the show a little bit because I was like, there's no fucking way that these precious items, which if Sam topples over or drops them, they will rip apart. He will destroy these precious ancient tomes, that they're just going to stack like that. But I think that oh my God, what if he knocks them over is part of what makes that scene work.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I really I think that Slughorn is doing a really great job being Maester Slytherin, because he's sort of the shitty Maester that only cares, he's in his lane, right? He only cares about
He's a
his
typical professor at a university. I mean, that's the perfect correlation,
He has that
He's
attitude.
doing his research, he's doing his thing, he's getting his
He
next
thinks
chain.
he's so
whatever.
funny,
Yep.
Well, and so if you want to write a book about history, you can't be boring. But this guy invents stories out of whole cloth. But you have to tell a compelling and interesting story, but also base it in fact, which is what I'm doing with my history of the 5 kingdoms of, Robert.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "What? Samuel, speak."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, what do you think of my title?" He's like, "Well,
Could be more poetic.
poetic." And he's like, "I'm not writing poetry."
Yeah.
And then he harumphs off, and he's like, no, but what about this? There's a cure for grayscale, dude.
Yeah.
There's a cure for grayscale.
Oh, that's a great thing. And he's like, I am familiar with Pyle's work. Do you know how he died?
Shall I tell you how he died?
Yeah.
Seems like
'Twas grayscale.
from grayscale. That treatment is too dangerous, and so we're never going to do it. Moving on.
Yep.
Cut to Sam wheeling his cart into Jorah's house.
Well, first off, Jorah's sitting there writing a letter to Khaleesi.
Oh, that's right.
Which
My dearest Khaleesi.
it just says Khaleesi at the top, comma, and then a bunch of scribbles. I didn't dissect what it actually says. There's a bunch of memes going down. There's one on Reddit.
People, man. They're all over this show.
It says Khaleesi, comma, and then someone made it look like he was drawing a picture of of her with hearts around it, and all this,
I love it.
like a child drew it. It was
love
really
it.
funny. But yeah, so then Samuel comes in with a bottle of rum, like we talked about.
Yep.
Takes a
Scaffolds,
swig,
rusty
scaffold,
old.
and then he starts cutting the grayscale
Oh my
off.
God. But first, he takes a swig of rum. Cheers. All men must drink.
All men must drink.
Oh, this is our first really good drink in a while.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's good.
Oh, it's
and I'm
going
getting
down.
loopy.
Me too. Have you heard my wanderings?
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah,
So-
usually I wander.
So Sam takes a swig, does perfect facial acting. Then Jorah chugs it down. Couple things about this scene.
Yeah.
One, shouldn't Jorah be laying the fuck down?
Why?
Because he's gonna fall over. Sam has a scaffold.
You mean passed out?
You need to lay down and lay still and bite down on your little leather bite strap. You can't sit still and be moving when a guy's cutting your fucking flesh off.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
That's thing one. Thing
two?
two, I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
I'm not a maester. It did stick out to me that the cure for grayscale is to cut it off and put on an ointment. That seems like duh. Not nothing more complicated than that. Not like a secret pill or nothing. Just cut it off and put on a Band-Aid.
We don't know if that's the whole thing, because we don't get to see the rest of it, right? All we see is the book of him removing it and then some potion thing going on.
He's like, he explains it. He's like, I'm gonna cut this off. It's gonna hurt because your skin, and then I'm gonna put on an ointment, and hopefully you won't die.
Yeah.
He's like, have you ever done this before? It seems like no.
Yeah. He says no, but no one else is gonna even try, so I'm the best you've got.
I know what you're gonna say. You're probably gonna die, and it'll be super painful. And also, Sam's like, I'll be crying the whole time, but I'm your only shot at life, so
suck it
let's
up.
get cutting.
Suck it up, bite down on
Yep.
this. And the transition to the next scene.
That pus was so gross.
But
And,
the transition to the next
so
scene.
good. It was so good.
Samuel
It was so
goes back in to cut some more, and it goes straight into a scene of this guy cutting into a pot pie.
It's a hot pies pot pie. They're getting so good, and I loved that there was that gross food connection again with Sam. Like, if they keep that up with him, I'm fine with it. Most fans, I'm sure, like, we're over this. Stop grossing us out, but I'm loving it.
I enjoyed it a lot too.
That scene is perfect because it is, you see Sam kind of from above peeling away Jorah's chest, and like it's super painful, and Jorah's face is at the sky, and he's, "Arr!" And then it cuts to if the camera is where that piece of skin had just been torn away.
Yep.
And it's looking at Sam, and Sam is holding the scalpel, and then
Going in.
you see his face get brave, and he takes a breath, and he pushes the scalpel towards the camera.
Yep.
And then it cuts to, the knife going into the
the
hot
pot pie.
pie
Yep,
and pulling out, the wet, white, pussy looking chowder or whatever was in that. It was so perfectly done. Oh,
Yeah.
that was so perfectly done. And I was like, they're just having fun with this now.
Yep,
And
yep.
I like to see them have fun with it.
And then Arya,
Yeah.
I think the way they're doing Arya is really smart.
Okay.
She's very much, quote unquote, and I'm going to say this like this, not a person in this scene.
Okay.
She's sitting.
She's a dick.
Yeah, but I mean, she's very much like staring, not at hot pie, off into space, ale, bread, pie.
Yeah.
This is good. Thanks. Okay. And then I think she's so focused on her mission, which is waiting for these guys to get up and leave so she can follow them to King's Landing.
Yep.
Kill one of them and take their face is my prediction, is what she was going to do.
That seems right to me.
And then boom, she gets this news. John's in Winterfell, girl. What are you doing? And she's like, oh, fuck.
The narrative purpose of Hot
Yep.
Pie coming back is
Right.
revealed.
Exactly, right. Thanks. Okay, we now know why Hot Pie's here. And she makes this great decision when she leaves.
Yeah.
Right?
So do you know where she is?
She's in
There's a name.
the crossroads. The cross is in
At the crossroads.
at the crossroads. There we
And
go.
do you see that we have yet again another character?
At a crossroads.
Ding, 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 ding,
Yep.
ding. Making a decision.
Yeah, and I like it. I love
thought it was
the way they
I thought it was
played it
wonderfully
out.
done.
Especially when she goes to pay too, and Hot Pie's like, "No, friends don't pay." Another.
Meanwhile, I was like, this is a feudal society. Fucking throw your friend a coin because you could get he could get murdered. Like she
Yeah.
says, who was eating this or where were you going with this food, and just takes it from him. And have you got any ale? And just takes it from him. Like people have been killed for less than that. If there was some guy, half drunk in the corner who was like, that was my hot pie, he would stab hot pie in the belly.
Yeah.
So maybe don't be a dick to your friend. You could get him killed.
But I think this is another instance of the show reminding Arya
Yeah.
that there are good people in this world.
Yeah, she has a friend.
There's the scene from the first episode where Ed Sheeran's buddy is like, "Be nice to strangers, and
That's right.
strangers will be nice to you."
Yep.
And then you have this another reminder from Hot Pie who says, "We're friends.
Yep.
It's cool. Like
Yep.
you always have
He's
a
like-
place here." Basically saying like,
Yep.
you will always have bread and ale if you come see me, and as long as you let me have the time to brown the fucking butter first.
That was a really nice callback to the Frey pies.
Yep.
Was it that she made?
Yep. Yeah.
I didn't do that. You've been making hot pies?
Yeah.
A few.
A few. One or two.
One or two.
So and then she leaves the crossroads. Obviously, she goes the opposite direction.
Yep.
That's very blatantly obvious to everyone. She's now going towards Winterfell.
Yep.
And she runs.
Hot pie says, I can't believe I ever thought you were a boy.
Oh, yeah, you're so
beautiful."
pretty.
And I
Yeah.
thought that was a really sweet moment. Please go on.
Yeah. That was a good moment. She says, "Thank you."
She just sort of all caught off guard there, and I really like it.
So then she goes obviously towards Winterfell, and we get the scene that everyone's been kind of clamoring about. Nymeria. Nymeria shows up with her wolf pack and is like about to eat their horse, about to eat her.
Yep.
and
Snarly.
absolutely recognizes her.
Yep.
And Arya gives her a choice.
Yep.
And says, I'm going to Winterfell. Come with me. Be my loyal pet. Be my soulmate again, right? Be my
Companion.
Right? Companion. That's the word I was looking for. Thanks, Doctor Who. And so she says, "Be my companion," and Nymeria just says, "Nope."
So this was
I'm out.
not at all clear to me, this scene. And
It was clear to me.
I saw it in the, like, after, inside the episode or whatever, that it was a callback to earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But even with that callback, it's not a direct callback. So probably I would need to study the show to pick up on that. But just from, like, a layman watching it, Arya says, "That's not you." And then the wolf walks away. Kirsten and I just, like, looked at each other on the couch and were like, what the fuck? What do you mean that's not you?
No.
Of course it's Nymeria. What other wolf would that be? Who are they trying to say this is? Of course that's Nymeria. What the hell is Arya's problem? And, like, we were very taken. Like, I understand that I'm not, a historical show watcher.
Nope.
But that reference totally passed me by.
So I didn't get the call back right away until I watched
Mm-hmm.
the Inside the Episode, or until actually I spoke with a coworker who said he watched the Inside the Episode thing. And I honestly didn't even know it existed. But anyway, thank you. Yes, I needed that. All men must drink. But I definitely knew what she was talking about, because
You knew that it was Nymeria.
yes, 100%. There's no way the showrunners would show a random wolf and be like, "Oh, okay, yep, Arya's like that. Arya knew that's not her." No way. That was Nymeria.
That's not you.
Because-
that's such a dumb thing for her to say.
But
That's
it's
not
true.
you.
But it's true though, because Nymeria.
She could say, "That's not who you are." Like, that would be way more specific. Like,
Okay.
that would get it for me.
Maybe the wording
it,
could have
man.
been. Maybe the wording could have been better. But
Yeah.
I took the message away.
It confused people who are easily confusable,
Yeah.
like myself.
Well, if you're easily confusable like yourself,
all men must drink.
then you shouldn't be watching such a confusing show.
I know, and like half paying attention.
What's amazing to me is that you can follow all the book shit the way you do, because there's 15
Great point.
times
Great point.
more shit going on in the books than there are in the show. The show is literally a dumbed down version of the Song of Ice and Fire
Fair.
series.
Fair point. Very fair point. You're absolutely right. I think it's because
Stop shitting on the show. God.
Am I? Like, I feel like I've had
Sounds
nothing
like you
but
are.
effusive
That's true.
praise
That's true.
for the show.
You've been pretty happy about
I'm
it.
totally into it. Speaking of things I'm into, can we rewind a little bit?
Are we going into Wayback Machine?
No, just
a
quick-
little bit. Okay.
Yeah, just a little rewind. Missandei and Grey Worm. Brown chicken, brown cow.
Okay. I was not pleased with this scene.
Oh my god, I loved it so much. I thought it was such a great scene. It
Okay.
was so emotional.
It was-
Did you see how much love was on her face? Did you see how, like, frightened?
Disappointed she
and
was that he didn't have a penis.
She was like, "I fucking love you." That's what it looked like in her face.
Yeah, and then of
She
course
knew he wasn't
goes,
gonna have a penis.
and then he goes down on her.
I know, that was pretty great, man. A little daring. It was a little risque, a
What-
little saucy.
It was kind of like a softcore porn. I kind of got a chub at that point, but regardless, she does
mean-
have nice breasts. By the way.
Oh my god, I had a thing for this.
Did you
So can
when
I
you
tell
saw
you
the
my
breasts? Were you like, oh, they're
tell you
so
my thing?
breasts? No, what's your thing?
So I made notes. I have like a little thing of notes during the
Okay.
show because I was like, oh, I should take notes since Dave and I are going to be talking about this. My first note is Missandei. I thought she was rebuffing him, not getting in the buff for him.
Oh.
Hey, what's up? Jonathan from Game of Thrones, call me. Not getting in the buff for him. I thought that she was totally like shut him down.
Oh yeah.
When he was like, "You're my weakness," and I was like, "Oh my god, I am the audience for that. Give me
Yeah.
that sappy, like hardcore emotional connection stuff
Not me.
every day of the week. I will
Not
eat
me.
it up with a spoon."
It's too soap opera-y for
I
me.
loved
you know?
it.
It was just
and whoever plays Grey Worm, his acting was great because he gets he had this fierceness, and then you can physically see him like soften and like his eyes dilate, and then he's like, "No, don't touch me down there." And then Miss Sandé is so beautiful in this scene.
She goes, I want to see you,
and she's
all
like,
of you.
And she's like connected with him. Like there is this wave of like intimacy, which must be so hard to film. And I thought they did such a great job with it. And then he's like, still no, still no. And then you just like see, you're only seeing like his neck and his like profile.
Yeah.
But you see his whole body relax. And he's like, okay. Like the subtlest of gestures. And he allows himself to be seen. Do you know how powerful it is to be seen by somebody that loves you, that is gazing on you with love in their eyes? Oh my God. And then they like start boning and I was like, oh my God, this is great. And I'm totally having this emotional, like, and then Kirsten's like, yeah, but I mean, he doesn't have a penis.
Yeah.
So how's this even going to work? And I was like, bitch,
what?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Neither of us have a penis. We find a way to make it work. And she was like, she started dying laughing. She's like, no, it's not the same. And I was like, it's the fucking same. What do you mean? It's not the same.
This is where what you
Oh
this
my
is hold on.
God. Oh my
Your
God.
response
Kirsten.
should have been, Kirsten, in a world where there is magic and dragons,
If only I had thought of that. I'm going
we're
to make
debating
you-
whether or not a man has a penis can pleasure someone.
or like experience
Think about your frame of reference.
pleasure himself. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved the coded trans messaging that was there. I
What?
loved all of it. I loved all of it. There was
Don't-
I
don't-
picked
I
up
don't
a-
even wanna
okay,
hear it.
Let's not unpack it.
I don't want to unpack
For me
it.
personally, I
don't wanna
experienced
unpack
it as some awesome coded trans positivity.
I think it was just a guy going to eat out a girl. I mean, a eunuch.
You're like, I'm a simple man.
I'm a simple man.
I see the world simply.
All I saw was a little sappy, too much of a love story between two relatively secondary characters.
Miss Sandé is like pretty important.
They're both pretty important,
Yeah,
but
that's
they're
true.
not as important as like Daenerys and Jon Snow, who are supposed to be having sex on a boat. Okay, it's a very different story we need to be telling here, folks.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that just made me think of something.
Yeah.
Is Jon gonna meet the dragons? That bitch is a Targaryen.
Are they gonna know right away? They're gonna know right away, right? The dragons internally are gonna be
Well,
like,
they
"That's my bro, yo."
They recognized Tyrion, right? Like
I think they did.
That
They
was his scene where he was like, "If I ever do that again, punch me in the face."
Yeah, he goes down. He's like, "I'm gonna talk to them and like, don't eat me." And they're like, "Yeah, you cool. Yeah, you cool. You cool, little man."
So I wonder if, so we've got oh my God, Dave, this is going to be the three heads of the dragon in Dragonstone all at once.
With three dragons.
No, I lied. Tyrion has probably set sail for Casterly Rock already.
Oh yeah, good point.
Damn it. Three heads of the dragon, three dragons.
No, I bet you Tyrion
Why
stays.
wouldn't Tyrion try
I
to
bet
ride
you-
a fucking dragon?
I bet you Tyrion stays. And the
Why?
reason why I say that
Someone
is
needs to
because
rule
he
Casterly
wants
Rock.
to see Jon Snow again. He makes
only
that very
reason-
clear. He makes that very clear in the show. He's like,
They have a little bromance
he's
going
like,
on.
he's like, yo, that's my Tigger.
I trusted him.
That's my
Yeah.
Tigger. That's my Targaryen brother. That's my Tigger. Yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that probably.
I
But
don't
anyway, so
Yep.
where did we skip to?
So I want to
The
go
last scene. We're up to the last scene.
But
in the book.
before we get to the last
In
scene,
the show.
I have another thing to say about how much I love Davos.
Okay, who doesn't
when-
love Davos?
So there's the two Winterfell scenes. The one
I know exactly where you're going with this.
when he reads that fucking letter and he was like, first of all, that actor's eyebrows should get in, like the Oscar goes to his fucking eyebrows for that scene. Watch when he's reading the letter from Daenerys.
Which, by the way,
So it's Jon, Sansa, and
Shireen
Davos.
taught him how to read.
Oh, I love it. Good job, Shireen. Preston Ashes.
Aw.
Let's see. So Davos he can read. His eyebrows win the Oscar. Of course, the mention of the Iron Fleet, a legion of Unsullied, a Dothraki horde, and 3 dragons is a little bit less Charming.
Yeah, right.
Davos sees the sense in having dragons.
Yep. Well,
like
he makes
from
the-
the get, he's
he
like,
makes
we
the-
need a fucking dragon up here.
He makes like the most obvious connection ever, and he like spells it out for both of them. He's like,
When
he
the
goes,
others.
fire kills whites. Hey John, what breathes fire?
Oh, that actor I love, that character I love. Oh, it's just so great. And then we get the Winter Council. Jon, Sansa, Davos, Littlefinger, the Northern Lords, the Big War
yeah.
Council. So we've got Dragonstone, Dragonglass, and allies. Like Jon's talking points are, we need dragons. They live at Dragonstone, which is a mountain of dragonglass. All of that shit kills others.
Yep.
I need to go.
Yep.
Now, in a book situation, right, George has given us things like this before.
Yeah.
And I won't get into them. They don't end well for the envoys.
Of course not.
But, like if Jon
Look
was
at Ned
being
Stark.
smart, he could send Sansa. Like, Doran Martell is sending Arianne. Like, there are other ways to play
Yeah.
this, but
He makes
we only have
his
7 episodes. We got to get going.
Yeah, and he makes this great point too. He's just like, Daenerys is a queen, only a king can subscribe
Yep.
to her for help.
Yep.
So
She'll only...
and definitely you can tell that he's very much, I'm not giving up the North.
Yep.
I'm not going to bend the knee. I'm going to try to convince her that there is a bigger war right now than the Iron Throne.
Yep. So for me, Jon Snow, and I know fans
Is
are
a
going to
whiny
hate this.
bitch.
He is such a little bitch baby. I didn't want the North. Of course, I still love you guys, but I have to go do this dangerous thing. Meh. Jon doesn't do it for me, guys. I'm not really into white guys, so Jon
No.
isn't really my dude. Pouty white guys just don't do it for me.
so
Unless they
let's-
have an acoustic guitar, then I'm all about it.
So instead of white guys,
Yep.
let's talk about white chicks
Oh, go ahead.
who are about to get a little Egyptian.
TV timeout first.
No,
because
no.
we're still Winterfell.
You have a thing though.
I need you to tell me what Littlefinger hoped to accomplish
By
by
provoking
provoking Jon
Jon?
Snow and being like, I want to fuck your sister. What are you doing, dude? Like, what is even Littlefinger doing right now?
I think he just wanted to tell Tyrion I say hello. I think that's the only reason why he goes down there. He's like, tell that clever son of a bitch that I'm still alive and I
Yeah.
say hello.
What's up, bitch?
What's up, bitch?
I'm in the North now.
Yeah.
Like, I get, so was it posturing? Was it like, I saved your ass, you could say thank you? Was it, I'm gonna do your sister while you're gone? Like, why make an enemy of Jon? Why go out of your way to be a creep?
I think it's another one of those I am going to turn your sister against you type of things. And I think maybe it's a little bit like, I think that's Littlefinger's way of saying thank you. Right?
How?
Hold on. Because
Yeah.
he gives, Littlefinger is now one step closer to having power.
Yeah.
Because he thinks he can control Sansa.
Yep.
And he makes that comment
Jon
to
is
Sansa
leaving.
that, you should be the one in Winterfell.
He's such a good player of the game. Why antagonize Jon Snow, King of the North?
Maybe force him to make a wrong decision with Daenerys.
Yeah, maybe
give him
get in his head a little.
get in his head a little bit, give him a little anger. So when
Yeah.
he goes to Daenerys, he's not thinking about bending the knee
Yeah.
and joining forces. He's thinking about coming home to
Make him
protect
shook.
Sansa. You know, so I think it was a
It's-
little bit of that.
Yeah, and I think in the show generally there might be a little like swagger. Like there's a lot of this like just sort of posturing between characters.
Absolutely.
And I think in the books you never go anywhere really alone. Catelyn, there are a couple of instances where you take, just 2 people. Like Jon is only going to go with Davos to Dragonstone, just the
Right.
2 of them. I think in the real world, it's all a fake world,
Yeah.
but like
You
Ned
take-
Stark
you
is going to
take
take an
some
honor
envoy,
guard. Yeah,
yeah.
you're going to take a small fighting force
Right.
with you, and you're going to have guards and protection, and anyway.
Yeah.
But this is going to be Davos and Jon, and they're headed that way. I'm not sure what's happening with Littlefinger. Does the show not know what they're doing with him anymore?
I
Has
maybe
he run out of?
Maybe they're a little lost with him. I don't have an
he
answer
said-
because
Here's where it fell apart for me last season. I think it was in the finale when he says to Sansa, "I see myself on the Iron Throne
With
as
you.
king of
Yeah.
the 7 kingdoms with you as my queen. That has never seemed like book Littlefinger's end goal. Like
Yeah.
he's a dude that's going to make a ton of money behind the scenes and move all the pieces, like aggrandizing himself, working himself up into, some major lord. Anyway, so we'll see. I'm interestedly watching. Question, do you think Jorah will be healed the next time we see him? Oh,
No.
do you think the Maester's going to lose his mind when he sees that Jorah is still alive and has been treated? Or does Sam kick him out and they pretend like he died? What happens here? I'm excited to see it. Anyway,
I'm excited to see it too. I don't have any predictions for that because I think both are and all are valid options.
what are we drinking tonight, Dave?
We're drinking Euron's YARA Smash,
And that brings us to the final scene of the show.
which starts off with the most foreplay-ish scene
Oh,
I've seen yet.
that was some sexy shit. My first thought, and I said this out loud to Kirsten, was why did they have to cast this woman as Yara Greyjoy? She doesn't look like Theon, and she does nothing for me.
Yeah.
And in
Sorry.
the books, Asha Greyjoy,
You want
which
a
is her
finger
name.
boy Asha?
Oh my god.
Finger
I want to
bang.
no finger dance. I'm going to
Finger
show
dance,
Asha
yeah.
my finger dance. Oh, well, I had a thing for this. I have a thing for this.
You do.
On my little notes. What did I say?
Why not Sand Snake's gonna show her
Her hand,
hand
snake.
snake.
Cut to showing her hand snake.
The best part of that scene, of the opening of this scene, is Ilaria gets up close to Yara, puts her hand on her leg, spreads the leg,
Oh, yeah.
and then says to Theon, "Are you gonna come? Are you gonna come join us?" Basically,
Yep.
you know.
Yep. And Theon's like, oh my god, why am I always a third wheel for my sister to hook
Theon's
up?
like, "I fucking tried that already on the horse."
And he's like, I don't have the dick for this shit
Yeah,
right
that
now.
too. Yeah. So they're about to get it on.
Yep.
And who the fuck shows up in the most
Question.
grandiose style ever?
Question, did Yara not have any lookouts? Was she not sailing in the center of her fleet? Are we disturbed by the logistics of this scene, or are we good with just taking it at face value?
So I think some of the logistics make sense. Like, of course, Yara and Ilaria are not going to be sailing at the head. And even if they are at the head, where the fuck does Euron come from? I agree that raises a lot of questions.
Okay.
But I think it also plays into the fact that they're trying to build Euron
Yep.
as everything he believes he is,
Yeah.
which is the greatest captain of the 14 seas.
Right.
If you are the greatest captain of the 14 seas,
Fair point.
and you have a ship called the Silence, I would expect that you
Yeah.
are really fucking good at surprise attacks.
Yep.
Especially
point.
considering the entire ship is basically black
Right.
and has a fucking disgustingly scary boarding arm at the very fucking front of it.
Dave, I guess we know what that thing is on the front of his ship
Yeah,
now.
I know. I was a little disappointed. It's not like a giant
Doesn't shoot
chain
out.
gun. It doesn't shoot out.
It totally
but
works, though.
It was.
The teeth
Oh my god.
smash into the other ship,
And
lock you together.
And here's a crazy thing. Fucking Euron was riding it. It wasn't like he
Yep.
was waiting for his men to take the first attack. It wasn't anything like that. He fucking held on
Yep.
with both hands
Yep.
and was had a maniacal grin on his face.
Whatever his weapon was awesome.
Oh, he had
that
this
hatchet
fucking
axe.
He had like an axe, but if you looked closely at the scene at the end of that scene where he's holding it up against Yara's neck, it's like made of like a kraken tentacle. There was like they made like the little details of all the sucker cups.
I love that about this show.
It was so
I have to
awesome.
say, now that I have divorced the books from the show,
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it because Euron to me is maniacal and crazy, but he's still drunk uncle.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's still kind of capering and
Yeah.
kind of, he's not primeval for me.
Yeah, and
He's
so
like TV evil.
he comes in and attacks and he basically demolishes.
Great scene.
Yes.
Horrific scene.
Horrific.
Teeth get pulled out.
They're
Faces
cutting-
get split open.
At the very
blood
end, you
gushing
see
everywhere.
Euron's guys
firebombs,
cutting ears off and all this crazy
the
shit.
maiming.
And he says he's holding up Yara at the end with this
Oh.
kraken axe.
But right before this, like, we are tight on Theon.
Yes.
In the, like, PTSD freak out
Right.
of, like, all the carnage. And so as the, like, camera is sweeping over the burning wreckage of the ship, we are, I think, Theon's point of view, and he's seeing, you know, people getting limbs ripped off,
Yep.
ears ripped off, flayed, teeth being ripped out, being butchered.
He's having reekbacks.
He's having reekbacks, Dave.
Yeah.
All
He's
men
having
must
reekbacks.
drink.
All men must drink.
Euron's YARA smash.
With a little bit of reekback.
Yeah, in Lannister Crimson.
It doesn't smell though, which is nice.
You're right. A little bit of muddled mint in there, I think, would just polish it off nicely. I meant to. My
Yep.
mint plant is very vibrant right
Yeah.
now. It is in full bloom, and so I just forgot when I left the house. But Euron,
Shucks.
maniacal, laughing,
Oh my god.
holding his kin, right? Like, it's still a sin in the Seven Kingdoms to be a kin slayer.
Yeah.
He's got his niece.
Well, he doesn't care.
He doesn't.
You know, he said it felt good, remember?
Yep. And and Theon takes a dive.
Theon jumps over in total reek move. He's like, I'm a coward. That's it. I'm out.
don't
Jumps
have the
over,
dick for
drops
this
his
shit.
sword, jumps over the boat, and fucking Euron just
Starts
huge grin, huge laughter. It's just the epitome of who Euron is
I
supposed to be.
freeze framed that and made that our picture for
Oh,
the
did you?
podcast.
Oh,
Yeah, so
great. Good.
it's a close up of Euron laughing and Yara looking. I think she's got
Super
a single
scared.
tear yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just awesome.
And a great way to end. I think that's where it ends, right?
That's
like
where
it ends on the
it ends with Reek in the water, like on like a Titanic
That's
raft
right.
type of thing. He's like, never let go of this raft.
Never let go.
And
Yeah.
they zoom out and they show. So before you see Reek there, you
Yeah.
see the two sand snakes that got killed during the battle. One was completely like eviscerated by two
That's right.
pikes, which was a fucking great scene because Euron is also like, I'm a fucking god.
How did
I
they
killed
film
you.
this?
The
The
and
Sand
then
Snakes were the biggest disappointment of the show.
Yeah.
Like, why even bring them in if they're going to be this
Also-
feckless and ineffectual?
also, I think I saw them actually cut Euron.
they
and
did.
so-
They got him.
And so I don't know if he's gonna die of poison because they're
This could
supposed.
be a Victorian thing.
So they're supposed to have like
Poison blades.
poison blades,
Huh.
but I don't know. So we'll see how that plays out.
Maybe Qyburn will heal him into a half-dead monster.
Yeah, something like that. But in the coming up next seasons, we see Euron walking back into
That's right.
King's Landing. So
What fools we were, Dave,
what fools we were.
to think that the show was going to give us something as
Cool as a dragon horn or something.
as boring as the delivering of a horn. Like, this isn't going to play with show audiences. What fools we were!
Yeah, that's
A
true.
horn? No, he goes and destroys the other fleet in fire and blood. That's what the show wants.
Yeah, and the
I'm
best
thinking
part
about
too
this
is
like it's a book. Like, there's going to be a narrative purpose that's plausible.
they were
That's
heading.
not what the show does.
They were heading to Dorne to pick up an army to
Yep.
come back to King's Landing.
Yep.
And he stops it
Yep.
before the army even
Yep.
gets on board. So, great.
So his
fucking-
gift is what's his gift?
His gift is the fucking captured Ilaria and Yara, in addition to stopping the fucking attack on King's Landing.
Now, for a non-show watcher,
Yeah.
having at the beginning of the episode the Dragon Council
Yes.
having Ilaria Sand standing opposite, throwing shade at Tyrion Lannister,
Yeah.
and saying all Lannisters deserve to die, and Tyrion saying, "Hey, bitch, at least I don't kill kids.
Yeah.
Way to murder Marcella."
Yeah, that was a very powerful scene. Yeah.
And it's a great way to remind us that Euron is now delivering to Cersei the woman that murdered her daughter.
I didn't think about that.
And they tucked it in the episode because I don't, like I've made it pretty clear, I don't follow the show. Apparently Ilaria
That's a good circle.
poisoned Marcella, and so the gift to the Mad Queen is gonna be the woman.
And she
that
loves her
killed your
children.
kid.
Cersei loves her children. Oh my god, this is great.
This doesn't end well for you, Ilaria.
No. And on that note, I think it's going to end well for us.
That's right.
Because I'm a little drunk.
Oh man, we did a good job getting drunk
And
tonight.
we did a good job
Or
with
at
this
least,
drink.
it was
You did
tasty.
a good job. It was tasty.
And it's nutritious. It's all fresh fruit. Mostly fresh fruit.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go with that.
It is.
Well,
What?
I'm going to lose 6 pounds tonight from drinking this. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an excellent episode
Loved
on
it.
season 7, episode 2, Stormborn.
Yep.
Thanks
Join
for
us next
listening.
week.
Thanks for joining us.
Wanted to say about
Yes.
Moat Kalen, because we got the information that Winds of Winter is not going to be surprise released tomorrow.
Yeah.
/ anytime in this calendar
Are we
year.
holding off on that episode for now? Or
I think that, probably we
Yeah.
should hold off on it until the season's over.
Okay.
And then, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll have more insights based on what I learned from the season or what I can extrapolate and see what makes sense.
And marry them
and
up
if we-
together, even
yeah.
though they divorced. They're already divorced in your
Right.
mind. Maybe they'll get back together.
Like, is
You know,
there
try it
a
again.
city
Like,
of
Let's
others?
do it. Like let's get back together. Like I know we got a divorce and you took half my shit and
Stole my baby
but,
to ice.
Yeah, I know,
Henge.
but maybe we can make this work.
Gave my child blue eyes in the frozen north. Hi, Susie's here to wish us farewell and
Our
so
dire
long.
cat comes in to say, "Get the fuck out."
Meow.
Meow. You gonna give us a meow? No. She's like, no.
Adios, my friends. We
All
will
right,
see you
everyone.
next time next week.
We'll see you next
On
week on
Westeros,
Westeros.
whenever
Wheneverly.
Wheneverly.
Wheneverly.